And this question interview brought to you by Orasi Software. The Orasi team is committed to providing full lifecycle support for developing, testing, and delivering market-driven products. Orasi's model is when a customer engages one of us, they engage all of us. Go to orasi.com. That's orasi.com for more information. Maceo, please introduce our guest, sir.
Scott Pederson, positive athlete, making a difference in the community. Man, listen, it's more than one way to get money to go to school. Be positive out here in the world. Scott, what's going on, brother?
I'm so happy to be here tonight.
Man, glad to have you, man.
Do I get to hang out the whole night?
Man, you can hang out as long as you want, Scott.
Yeah, all right.
You family now. You good. You good.
Well, talk to us, Scott. What made you bring and create the organization to celebrate positive? What made you bring up positive athletes?
It kind of developed over time. So a few years ago, I was working on this project for the United Nations, and they were finding the most positive things in the world. Okay. And I got the sports end of it. I bid in and was hired to find the most positive things in sports. And so I went up to ESPN and gave them an award for the Jimmy V Week stuff, and then I went out to the Diamondbacks. They'd done a bunch of cool stuff, and then I go to Pittsburgh and give Hines Ward the most positive athlete in the world award. And I don't know how much you guys know about Hines' background, but Hines was born in South Korea. He was born and biracial kid. Mm-hmm. And if you're biracial over in South Korea, you are nothing. And so he got bullied over there, and and his mom finally said, I got to move you to, we're going to move to Georgia. We're going to move you to Forest Park, Georgia. And he always tells me the story. It's like, thanks for the upgrade, Mom. The white kids don't know what I am. The black kids don't know what I am. And the Korean kids pretty much treating me like the other Korean kids did. So I really appreciate the upgrade.
Yeah, way to go, Mom.
Yeah.
Right.
But he used high school coaches and teachers, and people saw his talent and would not let him fall through the cracks, And then he goes on, obviously, to UGA, has a great career there, goes on to the Steelers, wins the Super Bowl MVP, and then he did something he said he'd never do again, and that was he went back over to Korea, and he got on national television with the president of South Korea and said, look what a biracial kid can do. And then he started bringing biracial kids over to Steelers games, and he was glomming them up with Steelers gear and sending them back, and it became cooler to be a biracial kid in South Korea than it was to be the full-blood kids going, how do I get to become biracial?
Wow.
I was like, well, you kind of missed that boat.
Wow.
So anyway, he really I was giving him this, I gave him this award, and I'm on the field, and like any marketing and PR guy, I'm pitching him an idea before, in the pregame ceremonies or a Ravens-Steelers playoff game. Always a good time to talk to an athlete about a marketing idea, right? And so, and I'm talking to him, and he says what most athletes would say, I'll have my agent call you, which is player for.
What's that code for?
Yeah, which is,
whatever.
I'll have my agent tell you no.
He'll tell you no for me.
I think I even gave him a business card, and it's like, it's like Hines would get, looking at his sock in the third quarter and go, I wonder what Scott wanted. so anyway, but knowing him now, I know exactly how he thinks, and the dude was thinking about it already, and I got a call from his agent like the next Monday.
Wow.
And said, hey, Hines, I want to meet with you about what you were talking to him about. And I had just kind of started formulating this idea about saying, how does Hines and his legacy up in Pittsburgh, because there are a lot of heads on plaques up there in Pittsburgh. It's like he'll be a Hall of Famer, but there's a lot of Hall of Famers up there. But what people love about Hines up there was that he always had that big smile on his face. He always gave back to the community, and that's what he wanted his legacy to be. And so we started hatching this idea, and I had it kind of formulated a little bit, but I would say, let's find the most positive high school athletes in Western Pennsylvania, and let's not just a football program, but let's find kids who have overcome difficult circumstances. So that could be a home life situation. That could be an injury or an illness. That could be a lot of different things that they overcame. Or there's a kid who's given back to their communities in a significant way in their schools. Or they're a kid that, just like Hines, hit somebody and they pop up and big old smile on his face. So anyway, so we had this idea of saying, come down. We'll have people come down to downtown Pittsburgh, and Hines will award each kid the most positive athlete in their sport. And it wasn't hard to talk anybody into coming down to meet Hines Ward in Pittsburgh, trust me.
Right.
As you can see,
that's tough.
Our producer already started flashing us.
Already. I'm going to be nice.
I got the first. She got angry at me first.
Yeah,
see what I'm saying?
Is that a first for a guess?
Yeah.
Right. It is.
Anyway, when we come back, y'all see we're just getting started. We're talking about it. And 'cause I like to say, you say work hard, play positive.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk about that a lot. So stay with us, man. It's The Crush.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch, or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's, it's time to save.
Attention, licensed financial professionals. Are you looking to provide client solutions for longevity risks, withdrawal rate risks, and sequence of return risks? If you answered yes, then Game Plan Financial Marketing could be right for you. We help financial professionals at every level of production by providing mentoring, sales training, and marketing support to help you grow your business. At Game Plan, our top priority is supporting you and helping you reach that next level of success on your terms, not ours. New team members receive a personalized, step-by-step marketing guide to help take your business to the next level. Claim your copy today. Call Brian Cantrell at 404-889-6317. That's 404-889-6317. Offer is intended for licensed insurance professionals only.
This is Bobby Yoller from the Ohio State. I'm kicking it with The Crush on Sensation Station Network.
Thought we had already went in, but you're going to remember old school. But anyway, man, we're here. We're back with Scott Pederson, a positive athlete, you know, in our crushing Orasi software crushing interview. And Scott brought up and gave us an intro of what brought the program and his connection with Hines Ward. So make sure you go ahead with the next one, man.
One of my favorite words that you guys have as a pillar of your program, character. Mm-hmm. Talk about the character of the athlete and how important that word is to these young people.
Well, what we found is when these kids get nominated, that we already have companies that are looking at these kids. They're coming to us and saying, we want to know who these kids are. Because if you think about what a positive athlete is, it's a high-character kid who understands teamwork, who's won and they've lost. And if they've shown character, you know, that's the thing that companies are looking for.
Right,
Because know, we all know that about 2% of the kids are going to go on to play D1, if that, right?
Right.
And they're so that means 98% of these kids who are playing sports are going to need something and have something about them that's going to help them on the rest of their life. And that's what really this program was about.
Right.
It was really, it's more about the 98% than it is the 2%.
Right.
Because those kids never get awards. The 2% are always getting all the awards.
They get invited everywhere.
Yeah. They get a day where they put their hat on and tell where they're going to school and everything.
They knocking hats off tables.
Exactly. And these kids are sitting there going, hey, you know what? I contribute to my team too.
I do something.
But we just wanted to give something to kids to say, you know, we see your character, and the coaches say that, and they said we've never had an opportunity to do that before until your program came along, and that's why we've got 5,000 kids, over 5,000 kids being nominated in Georgia.
Right.
450 high schools.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
What has been the biggest impact or the biggest thing you heard from positive athletes, from kids, from parents, and everybody surrounding?
We've had kids and parents tell us that when they put it on, when they were trying to be recruited, that college coaches were saying that they saw a positive athlete on there, and it was the first thing they drew their eye down to, because as you're trying to give scholarships out to kids, you're giving away a lot of money, and you want to know something about it. And all of a sudden, positive athletes said about that kid, you know what, this is a kid you want to take a chance on. And that's a big question mark, with a lot of these schools. They want to know. That's why the NFL Combine puts them through that, all those tests.
Right. The ringer.
They want to know what's the character and what's the, is this going to be a good teammate? And so, and so do college coaches. And so that's one of the things we've seen. And the other is that how much it means, especially to kids that just never get these kind of awards, or never get this kind of recognition, is that somebody noticed me. Somebody notices I'm trying.
Right.
I may not be very good at my sport. I may be the 10th guy on the basketball bench, but the fact of the matter is that I contribute to this team every day and in practice and those kind of things. And it was a nice way for them to be recognized as a good kid.
Talk about this component where you guys are awarding scholarships to a lot of these positive athletes.
Yeah, what we did was we started inviting companies up in Pittsburgh. We started at first, and it wasn't hard to talk to people into coming in. Do you want to stand next to Hines Award and giving away awards for positivity?
Look pretty good doing that.
I was going to say, I'm a bank. I need some good positive publicity. So they started standing next to them, and so companies started seeing when we do these nights. We tell the stories of the kids. And they tell different stories. We'll have 30 kids winning, and they're going to be 30 different stories there. So it's
always
not just a kid. There's a kid who had cancer. There's a kid. We had a kid up in Pittsburgh that was set the record for the most touchdown receptions scored. He was born with one hand.
Wow.
And I gave Hines a hard time that night. I said, Hines, look.
you out here dropping balls?
Yeah, that
Come on, dude.
That doesn't seem right. So, but anyway, so companies started coming around us, and they said, we want our brand associated with something like that because you're reaching all the schools, and this is a great way to show that we care about the community. And so we have SunTrust and Northside Hospital and CHOA and Delta and all these people have just flocked to this thing, and it's really cool, and it's because of what this represents.
Right.
And it represents a lot of their employees their kids are getting nominated for these awards, so it means something to them.
What goes into a nomination for a kid? What do they have to achieve, or what do they have to be a part of to be able to be considered for positive athlete?
What we always say is that, there's no real formula. We give our 7 definitions of a positive athlete to kind of give them a guide by, and those optimistic attitude and puts others first and servant leader and those kinds of things. But a lot of times what we do is say, just tell us about the kid. Most of these things, when kids are trying to get a scholarship, they make them do this big, long application process.
Right.
And everybody goes, oh, okay, I'm not doing this,
Yeah.
And this is just, tell us about the kid, And sometimes they go, he's really positive. And it's like, okay, you're probably not going to win, But if you say,
he's really positive.
but you tell about the kid, and and then what we do is that the parents can send you another nomination too. The parent gets an email and says, tell us more about your kid. And the kid, my kid had cancer too for 5 years. And so there's a lot, what goes into it. It's a very simple process. You just go online to positiveathlete.org and just nominate a kid. And it takes it could take 5 minutes to do.
I love it.
Oh, we got the fist going on twice, so we got to go to break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Cobb County Kia. We still have 0% for 75 months on Optima, Forte, Sorrento, and Sportage. We also have that 90-minute guarantee. So this is what you do. Shop Cobb County Kia in Kennesaw and CobbCountyKia.com. 90-minute guarantee by appointment only. Purchase must be on in-stock unit. 90-minute guarantee based on original customer agreement to terms dependent on credit. Lending of $500 will be paid by check once the loan is funded by lending institution or may be deducted from the price of the car, whichever customer chooses. See dealer for details. So this is what you do.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay. Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving.
If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council. Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
This is Bobby Yoller from the Ohio State. I'm kicking with the Crush on Sensation Station Network.
Hey, we're back. But before we continue with the interview, make sure we have a caller, man.
Hey, caller, what you crushing on?
Oh, Maceo Glaze, I'm all off topic, but I'm crushing on Georgia State and Black Panther.
Hey, man. Hey, that's a pretty good mix you got right there, Mike. Shout out to, I know as a Georgia Tech grad, I know it hurts to give another school credit, but yeah, Georgia State, the only school in the state of Georgia.
We don't have a rivalry with them, so I can give them credit.
Okay, as long as it's not that school on 316, huh?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right, nothing coming out of that.
Mike, I would just hope you would have been a little bit loving for all schools, but I understand, man. I understand.
Especially when the Dogs, they're looking for a new coach today, Mike.
Yeah, you don't feel a little sorry for him,
You don't
Mike,
feel a little
man?
sorry for him, Mike?
No, I don't feel sorry for them at all, and I hope they pick a bad coach too. And I hope they gave their coach the Howard treatment, and hopefully they'll be paying their coach for a couple of years, like we still paying Paul Howard.
I tell you, man. See how alumni do. That's what your alumni dudes go to, Mike. I just want you to know that.
All right, Mike.
Hey. All right, there.
We appreciate you, Mike.
We appreciate you, Mike.
All right.
What number did Mike call us at?
Hey, man, Mike called the show to spew all of that stuff when we're trying to stay positive at 678-613-5857.
You know, this whole Georgia Tech.
Let's get back to positivity, Mike. Glaze, get us back to positivity. You the point guard. Get us back to positivity.
So, well, let's talk about what the deadline this week.
Yep.
To sign up, right?
Yeah, it's a deadline. It's Friday.
Okay.
Friday is the last day that you can nominate kids for this year, and we got a lot of different fun stuff for the kids. It's just if they just get nominated, they get 2 free Braves tickets. The Atlanta Braves have been awesome, so they're giving every kid. That's 5,000 kids are getting nominated, and the Braves are giving every single one of them a pair of tickets.
That's great.
Just for being nominated.
Now, I don't want to be that dude. Make sure the kid is positive before you nominate him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, not just because you want to go on
to some
Chipper Jones bobblehead night.
Yeah, we do have a checks and balances.
Okay, right.
We send it back to every school, and we say any kid that's been nominated, and the athletic director says, that kid's in the principal's office 12 times this week.
Now, if he's been to ISS, he disqualified.
Yeah, exactly.
Just okay, but that's awesome, man. 10,000 tickets for the Braves. That's awesome. That's real awesome, man.
Oh yeah, and we get that up. The Minnesota Twins are doing that for our program up there, and the Tigers are doing it for us. And so this program's really caught on. I mean, it's what's the right thing with sports, And when we have our event at the College Football Hall of Fame, who hosts us there? It's a night of just all of the professional sports teams being around, all of the U.S. Like USA Swimming, USA Softball, all of them. Everybody comes together on that night to celebrate these kids, and it's really, I always call it the most important night of sports in Georgia, what it's really kind of all about.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure we be there this year.
Absolutely.
We can have some.
Right, I'm gonna be very positive too.
No,
you need to do your show.
Make sure when you see Hines, let that all go, man. No cowboy thing.
I'm just gonna stay away from it.
If Hines had been sitting here doing the interview, you've gotten that dogging on the dogs talk.
So let me tell y'all this story. So I, because of my cowboy loyalty, Jerome Bettis was in a store that I was managing once upon a time. I didn't help Jerome Bettis. I walked away. I told somebody else to go help him.
See, we kind of be positive, basically.
Right. And it was funny because he kind of looked, and he was like, why did he walk off? And somebody like, yeah, cowboy fan. He was like, oh, okay. So as he walked out the door, he said, I ain't want your help no way. I was like, good. I wasn't going to give it to you no way. So it was a good laugh.
Yeah, Hines probably won't be our spokesperson when we go to Dallas, right?
Yeah, I couldn't see that.
Or Baltimore. Yeah,
a couple cities that Hines no.
You probably had somebody else on deck when that happens.
Yeah,
right.
One time I had Ray Rice ready to go, but that didn't work out too well. So we probably
Next,
come on, Ray.
Wow.
But the thing about it is, but this is the thing about positivity is that the athletes, up to that point, Ray Rice was really a good guy.
Spotless.
I mean, he gave back to the community, and you make one mistake on a night like that,
right?
And that was a big mistake. But the fact of the matter is that the guy was, but if you could admit your imperfections, and that's what I really appreciate about Ray, he at least came back and said, look, I made a bad mistake, and I'll play for free because I made a bad mistake, and so that's somebody I could get behind.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, Scott, real quick. When you talking about that, do you think also it's because of just the news cycle? Like everything used to be a time that it took stories a long time to kind of get out, but today, man, that thing on a loop every 5 minutes.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that everybody's a reporter now. So
right.
It's like there were a few years ago that some guy followed Hines out of a bar and followed him, down the road, and he was a MARTA cop, and he basically said, hey, I'm following Hines Ward. It's like, well, that. And so he got pulled over, and all of a sudden it was a Hines Ward gets a DUI. And he never got a DUI, but once the news took it,
right,
it made it sound like he did. So it's kind of scary what you can get.
Irresponsible journalism at its best.
Well, actually, you've taken it to 4 states so far. You're talking about going national. How did each state, do you just approach certain schools, certain people, or how do you make it to where it gets to this state is a part of this state and this a part of this state and things of that nature?
Well, it's always going to be sponsor related. So Delta Airlines has been a great support of ours, and Delta is the one that took us to both Minnesota and Michigan.
Gotcha.
Their plan is to help us go to all of their hubs. So Seattle next, and Salt Lake City, and New York, and L.A. Some places that there are their hubs. But we have also, when we're talking to companies now, they want to know that we can go national, and that's what we've proven. CNN does a positive athlete story of the week every week now on CNN, and Hines does the lead into it. So we're already kind of national based on that.
Right.
Wow. Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue with Scott. Is that good? That was good. Okay, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Viola Davis. Did you know that 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger? Growing up, I was one of those kids, but we can solve this. When we make breakfast happen for kids in our neighborhood, we have the power to end childhood hunger, create bigger, brighter school days, and healthier minds and bodies. Go to hungeris.org and lend your time or your voice.
We're hungry for more.
A message from the Albertsons Companies Foundation and the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
If you're a single man under the age of 35, you'd probably like to know what the ladies are looking for on an online dating site. A guy who had a few drinks and later got pulled over for buzzed driving. See, that could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And doesn't a guy who's back living with his parents but calls them my roommates just scream Mr. Right?
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the app.
My savings are gone.
Okay, where were they last?
Here, right before I spent them on that vacation to Aruba.
Weird. Not weird. Not saving now means no money later. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
This is Amar Batman Karen. You listen to The Crush, the only sports radio show that they're going to keep it real in the A on Sensation Station Network.
Hey, we're back, man. We're in our Orasi software crushing interview with our man Scott Pederson of Positive Athletes. Let's talk about the Hines factor. You talked about getting together with him.
And that smile. He always smiles.
He always got the grin on. What has he been as the base ambassador of Positive Athletes?
You know what? People always ask me, what's he like? And I see he's how you'd hope he'd be. You know how you meet athletes and you say, oh, man, I liked that guy, but now I don't. But Hines, as I always say, he is as you hope. And when we do these events, he sticks around for every autograph. And now so when we do our events, every kid gets a T-shirt signed by Hines, and they get a photo with Hines. Wow. All right? And then he still takes photos with every one of their family members at the end. It's like, the guy's sweeping up, and he's taking pictures with that guy. He's just real. I mean, he's just who you'd hope he'd be, and he's just been a joy to work with. And he's, everything we've ever asked for. If I ever ask him for something, and I try to be careful about asking him to do too much, but every time I ask him, man, he's always like, Scott, where do you need me?
I gotta keep it positive with this one right here. Are you impressed with Scott Frost being hired at your alma mater?
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, absolutely I am.
Positive smile.
I was going to say, I'm very happy with Scott Frost because, that's, first of all, a young coach.
Right. Yes.
I don't even care about so much about the legacy of Nebraska guy. I think you do have to understand the culture there. But I think with Scott Frost has shown he can recruit on the West Coast. He's shown he can recruit down in Florida. And I think he's going to take the he's in the right division of the Big Ten to make a statement because really you only got to beat Wisconsin.
Right. Don't have to play Ohio State and Michigan every year.
Well, you may have to play him, but you don't have to beat him in the division.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is I think he's and he had the smartest thing he did was coach that Auburn game. Against Auburn because he got a 3-hour commercial. For recruiting, and it really helped his recruiting for this year. And so I'm excited about and my brother was Tom Osborne's recruiting coordinator.
Wow.
A long time ago, and I was Jimmy Johnson's. Matter of fact, I don't know. I heard you talking about Dallas. So
yes, baby. Yes.
So I was Jimmy's recruiting coordinator at Oklahoma State when he was there.
Wow. Good stuff.
Scott got that long. So, Scott, you seem like you've done a little bit of everything. United Nations, recruit coordinator, positive athlete. What is your philosophy of anything that you ran successful businesses? What is your philosophy?
Well, I guess, the most important thing to me is I want to be where God wants me to be, okay? And that's one of the things that I've always kind of said. I had gotten to do a lot of fun stuff, and I have been everywhere from I helped the Browns move to Baltimore. Okay, the Modell family asked me to do that, and I've gotten to do a lot of.
That wasn't positive.
It wasn't for the Cleveland family. There's a long story.
Right.
I'll tell you the story sometime. We'll have me on again.
I'll
tell you the story as to why that was actually a good deal. Not been good for the Cleveland Browns since. I don't think they've.
They still, man.
But it's those things that where you feel like where are you supposed to go? Because I was doing a lot of promotions. One of the things we did at my old company was we did the PR and marketing around Livestrong. Okay, so that program at the time wasn't going very well, and because nobody followed cycling and nobody knew who Lance Armstrong was, and then what we did though is we went back to Nike and said, hey, would you send these yellow wristbands out to all of the athletes who endorsed Nike, and they all started wearing it during their games, and then this was before the internet was around really, and they started, and so that's always that kind of inspired me is that all these athletes kind of came up and said, we're tired of these negative stories about. There's so many of us doing good things out there. And I'm tired of being locked in with the guys who are getting on in the newspaper for the wrong reason. And so that's kind of been my philosophy. Is like I want to change culture by kind of the negative side of it. I ask media all the time. It's like, why do you always promote the negative stuff? And they say, because it shows up on our doorstep. It's easy to promote.
You don't have to go find it.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is dig up the positive stuff. You have to dig it up. And that's what we get. When we get 5,000 nominations, we get these stories of kids that are like, they're blindside type stories. This one kid last year down in South Georgia was literally sleeping in the press box. And his parents had abandoned him. and sleeping in the press box, and nobody knew it for 3 months. And finally, somebody, I think a custodian came up there and found all these wrappers and clothing and stuff. And this kid was like the president of the student council. He was like the all-star, guard. And it's like, and this kid just held it together. And so we get stories like that in our box all the time. And it's like, you realize people are coming, using great positive attitudes. So we just want to kind of bring it up. And I'm always kind of Mr. Positive. I'll find the positive in almost anything. Wow.
We would love to. One of the things we do on Tuesday, we got a segment called That's What I'm Talking About, where our main goal is to find the positive stories in athletics. We would love to partner.
Hard to find.
Yeah, absolutely. I can shoot you story after story after story right here in Atlanta, and it's amazing what kids can do.
And so we got our spots because now
I know where to go find the story.
And you can get that as a sponsor to sponsor that.
Yeah,
I mean, people want to be behind that kind of stuff.
Because it was funny. Me and Mason always say, "Well, we can find all the bad ones like it ain't nothing."
Yeah, like I said, it shows up on your doorstep.
Right.
And
I have to read. I have to start picking them up on we finished show on Wednesday.
Yeah, we start
Thursday.
Start Thursday looking
for every good story. Let me write it down. There's not gonna be a lot of them.
Let me put it to the side.
Yeah.
Hey man, when we come back, we're gonna wrap up with Scott. So make sure we got more coming in with this. That's what I'm talking about. We're gonna make it a big segment.
Man, right.
Absolutely.
So y'all stay with us. It's the Crush.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me. Whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextsstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And lead the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Twin Sports TV, and shout out to The Crush on Sensation Station Network. Get your game up. Woo!
Hey, man, we're back. Still doing our Orasi Software Crush interview with our guy Scott Pederson of Positive Athletes. And, like I said, man, shout out to Twin Sports TV. They do a lot of positive stuff as well.
Do a lot of positive stuff in the community.
They go around. We're in our final segment, which is you, Scott. When it all said and done and Positive Athlete is doing what it's doing, what's the main focus and what's the main thing you want people to get from Positive Athlete?
What we want to do is make sure that we're trying to change culture. And the best way to describe it is a program we're doing right now at Campbell High School and Milton High School at the same time. We've taken 30 kids who are the most influential athletes, not necessarily the best kids, but the most influential, all right? The people who wear what they wear and they say what they say, listen to what they listen to. And we're taking those kids, and each one of those kids are taking a 40-day course on character and taken over the school. They call it the Power of Peace Project. And it was started by a guy who actually was taking this program to prison, and he was getting different rival gangs, and he was taking rival cartels, and he got them together because everybody's got a dream. Everybody's got a dream in their heart, and there are all these dream killers that just, especially for kids. I wouldn't want to be a kid in high school today. It would be really tough because that phone, that wasn't something I had. And,
right.
Of course, I'm a lot older than you guys. Yeah. I had a phone that had to do the rotate.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, with these kids, in one snap, the kid takes a picture of a girl at a party that's drunk and now it ruins her life.
Life change.
And so what these kids have decided they want to do is they want to take over the school, and they want to say, we're not going to allow that to happen. If we see that happening, and they've all they're younger in the class, and the reason we did it at Milton and we did it at Campbell is the other part of this thing is we want the kids from Campbell to learn about the kids from Milton, and the kids from Milton to learn about life as a kid from Campbell, because those are two very, very different schools,
very different neighborhoods.
Yeah, and so but we want the Campbell kids to know that the Milton kids don't hate them, and the and the Milton kids don't whatever they would think about the kids from Campbell, and so that's and SunTrust actually put the money in to do that program for us, and so that's the kind of stuff we want to do. We give them scholarships, and we want to give them, but we just want to encourage kids and just change some of the stuff that goes on. Because that kid down in Florida, that didn't need to happen.
No,
that was a kid that walked around school thinking he was invisible. But if some athlete would have come over and put his arm around that kid or sat with him at lunch or something like that, do you think that might have changed that kid's life?
Right.
And so that's what Positive Athlete ultimately wants to accomplish is how do we inspire kids who are influential and positive to make a positive statement in the rest of the other kids at their schools.
It's funny you say that, Scott. It's almost like a leadership type thing. I can remember when I was named my team captain, and one of the things my coach told me was like, listen, it's because you are influential in the right way.
Right.
Now, sometimes you do some crazy stuff, and people follow that too, but for the most part,
right,
you're always on the up and ups, and that's why you're my captain. Do people really understand that positivity and leadership really are kind of like the same thing?
Yeah, I think they're starting to, and the more you emphasize it, and
right,
the more that you say, and that's one of the things, we have these 7 characteristics of a positive athlete. One of them is admit your imperfections.
Right.
Because even as a captain, you probably made some mistakes.
Oh yeah, what?
But if you go up in front of your team and say, you know what, guys, I made a mistake. You know the amount of credibility you get from the rest of your teammates when you do something like that, and that was an important thing that when we said we got to have that in there because people are gonna make mistakes.
I carried the blame for a loss for a long time till we had my coach in here and he had to do therapy on me.
He held it from high school to this show 6 months ago.
Yeah. Wow! Did you get over it?
Yeah.
Just now. Yeah.
Well, once we had Coach over there,
Coach had to tell him, get over that.
I can't.
We need to go back and make him an honorary positive athlete.
Yeah, I think we do it.
There we go.
See what I'm saying?
Hey, I've got one thing I want to offer, okay, for your bracket challenge. All right?
Okay.
So I want to offer up a Hines Ward signed T-shirt, positive athlete T-shirt.
Okay.
To whoever wins your bracket.
Oh, it just got deeper.
It got even deeper. Okay.
Before we go, I want to talk about them. You talk about them a lot. The 7, optimistic, encouraging, servant leader, hearts for other, amidst imperfections, always gives 100% and puts teams first. Did you come with that? It was committee. Who came up with those 7?
It was a combination because I ran them by Hines and everything, and so I always try to build everything I can. All those things are biblical, even though this isn't like positive Christian athlete. Those things are all very biblical in my eyes, and they're all things that make you a better person, and are the kind of things that if we got people to do those things, we would have a different society, very different society.
So. Y'all hear the challenges got a little bit better.
I'm tweeting it now.
We going through. You're getting a signed T-shirt. You can't beat that. So it's gonna stay in here anyway, make sure. We're just gonna be
right.
It's not going anywhere. I mean,
because if I win, you know what I'm gonna do with it.
What you gonna do with it, man?
I'm gonna give it to Coach Preston because he'll sell it. And in turn, he gonna have to buy me a Cowboy jersey or something.
There you go.
All right. So before we go, Scott, please tell people where they can find out more about the nominations this week. Because if you got a positive athlete, please nominate them. Tell them where they can go and where they can do all this at.
Yeah, it's positiveathlete.org. That's simple. Positiveathlete.org. And you can nominate any kid, boy and girl, in 9th to 12th grade, in any sport. Okay, and you'll see all the sports are listed on there, and so it literally takes 5-10 minutes to do. And if you want to write it longer, you can write it longer. But the fact of the matter is to get in there and do it. It'll say something to a kid that's trying,
Right.
And if your kid needs that, it's a great love letter from a parent to a kid to say, hey, I appreciate who you are. Plus, you get a free couple of Braves tickets. So that's a good incentive as well.
Yeah, you can't beat it. Scott, we appreciate you coming on. So
yeah, thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Awesome. This was awesome. So we're gonna talk more with Scott. You might see him a few more times. I don't know if we can bring Hines in.
Go Huskers.
We don't know.
Go Huskers. Yeah,
hey,
go
man,
Big
when we
Red.
come back, man, we're going to what are we going to? Crush Rundown. So
Yeah,
stay with us.
right,
It's the Crush.
right.
Oh, long time no see.